All right, it's great to be with you guys today. Just thought we'd do something a little bit different and just randomly go live. Had some time today to do so, and I've often wondered what my audiences are doing at noon in the middle of the day. So I thought it would be cool to come on here and talk with you guys for about 30 minutes or so. I got a little time to kill, and just thought I would jump on. We always have a good time going at 9 o'clock Eastern time on Fridays, and I just kind of wanted to get the feel for what it would be like to do it um, during the middle of the day. Try middle of the day and see how it goes. So hope everyone's doing well. We had some people in the waiting room. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We got people from Illinois, people from Oregon, New Mexico, Mississippi. It's great to see y'all. First of all, right out of the gate, I am feeling somewhat better. I don't know when I'll be able to do a live show where I actually sing yet. I've reached the phase of my sinus infection where everything is finally starting to break loose, and I'll spare you guys the details. But I've reached that point now where everything is starting to break up, and so it's still kind of. I was able to do a little bit of singing on Patreon. I recorded a cover tune that someone requested. Jeff Davis wanted to hear dim lights, thick smoke, and loud music, and so I did that one and managed to get through it. But I don't know if I could do a 30-minute show or an hour-long show of singing, so it'll just be talking for me for a little while. But there's a lot going on out there in the world. I want to talk about that. I mean, Trump. I saw a meme that was so true. I know sometimes memes can get obnoxious, but sometimes they just really hit home into the truth. And one of them said something to the nature of, you know, a, a, a madman's last descent is into madness. A narcissist, his last descent is always into madness. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Trump. We're seeing him just completely come off the rails. Because to be honest with you, I think he knows the walls are closing in. I really do. And I feel as though he's just throwing anything he can at the wall at this point in hopes that it sticks. I saw some of the clips where he came out with Elon Musk, and it's funny because I've often referred to Trump as being, in his fat Elvis phase, which is kind of an insult to Elvis Presley, because I'll always say that Elvis had more talent, even when he was bloated and sitting at the piano. Elvis still had more talent than Trump ever had. But I feel like that Trump has reached this point where the only people that are taking him serious are just the rest of the clowns in the circus. And so they're all just dancing around him at this point and rallying around him. And it is so hilarious to me sitting back and watching these people like Elon Musk come out there and dance around Trump. And then you see people in the comments saying things like, oh, this is so wonderful. These guys are going to save America. And they always love to throw in that these are former Democrats saving America. And I'm like, who in their right mind would buy that, and what bot put that out? Because it's so over the top ridiculous. And I see this comment here. I'm going to bring this one up because this is true. A cornered rat is a dangerous rat. Yes, and I really believe that Trump is a cornered rat, and I feel like he'll get dangerous because he's got nothing left to lose at this point. So I think that, but I think as we go forward, you're right. He's cornered and he's going to be dangerous. But I'm actually enjoying sitting back and watching him go out there with Elon, and it just makes for great comedy. I mean, if you're a comedic writer right now, you got it made. If you're Saturday Night Live, you have got so much you can do, and you really don't even have to rewrite it. All you have to do is just reenact it. It writes itself. He went on a podcast with a guy, and I wasn't familiar with this dude at all, but his name was Andrew Schultz. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about him, but he goes on there, and they basically were laughing in Trump's face. They talked about at one point. The one that the Harris campaign really capitalized on was when the guy asked him, where's Mike Pence? And Trump had to be like, well, he didn't have the courage or whatever he normally says. But at one point, Trump said that he was basically a truthful person, and the podcaster started laughing right in his face. And there were several clips from that podcast that I noticed where they were literally just laughing at his answers. And I know there's some people out there that say, well, they weren't really laughing at him. They were just excited to see him. No, they were laughing and cracking up because he's so over the top absurd. He's just so far out there that I could laugh at it more if it wasn't for the serious nature of it all. I could laugh at it harder if it wasn't for the fact that I realize our democracy is circling the drain. I feel like, and I don't know, like I said, I know nothing about that podcaster, but you know, I think a lot of wealthy people who aren't wealthy white dudes who aren't going to be affected by it can sit back and laugh at it like they're at a WWE event. But for those of us that realizes the seriousness of the situation, it's just hard. It's hard to laugh at. But yeah, he's just absolutely at this point in the game descending into madness, and people are laughing at him. And you know, I think going back, I go back to a clip. I did a video on this a long time ago, not too long ago, maybe this year. Hell, I don't remember, folks. I do this content every day; it all runs together. But James Carville was talking about how he was talking about the movie Animal House. And at the end of the movie Animal House, the guy basically stands up, and I can't remember exactly how he says it. I know I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "What we need right here is, you know, ridicule. We need to ridicule this." And you know, Carville was making the argument: we've tried everything under the sun to defeat Donald Trump. What could it be? What if we just ruthlessly ridicule the guy? And I remember Carville making that video, and I did a reaction to it. And then not long after that, it seemed like that's when the whole "he's weird" started. And the minute that people started calling him weird, he began to come apart at the seams. And then when they got that debate performance and Kamala just baited him in, she baited him into everything. And when she said that about his crowd sizes, he went with it. He fell for it. And I went back in my mind to Carville. I was like, you know what? That guy's got this one right. Because the more you ridicule Trump and the more you laugh at him, you can see that he's super sensitive. Like when that podcaster's laughing, you can see his mind racing like, oh shit, you know, are they laughing at me? And like, oh, he's trying to like chuckle and trying to act cool, but you can see this nervousness come over him. That he was being made fun of. I saw someone said, did we miss anything? No, I just went live. I wanted to try this on for size and see what my audience was like in the middle of the day. We've always did late shows at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. Usually it's when I go, or 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I just wanted to see who was out and about at noon Eastern time. Now, noon Eastern time where I'm sitting is lunchtime. Someone said they were comedians. I did read that part that he was a comedian, but yeah, I just thought I would try this on for size and see how it worked. Having a show in the middle of the day. I'm still having my coffee. I woke up, took my son to school, came back home, released a video, and then I just took a massive power nap. One of those where that you wake up and feel like it's 1987 and you miss the bus. So that's where I've been today. But still having my morning coffee. I hope everyone's doing good. It's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. That's awesome. Someone here says, vote blue like your life depends on it. You absolutely have to. And you have to vote straight down the line, Democrat every step of the way. I've never understood the philosophy personally of people who will vote for a Republican president and then Democratic lawmakers or governors. I've never understood that. Maybe I could have understood it 15, 20 years ago. Maybe you could have made the argument for it. But now with the way things are, I just feel like that you have to vote straight. You have to give Kamala a team to work with, because you have to stop and think about, look what they've done this entire time. Look at all the bogus impeachment scandals they came at Joe Biden with. We're going to get more of that. They're going to be doing that. And so we have got to give her a team to work with down the line. So, yeah, we do need to vote blue like our life depends on it. But we also vote straight down the line, Democrat, all the way, because you absolutely have to. And I'm going to be early voting this year. I think early voting in Tennessee starts the 15th or 16th, and I think it's next week. I'm going to vote early. I've never done that before, but I'm going to this time. And no, several people are saying, have I missed anything? No, you've not missed anything. I just decided to go live in the middle of the day to see what my audience was up to, see how many people was out and about. Like I was saying, this is kind of a popular lunchtime here on the East Coast, so maybe some people will catch it while they're on their breaks. But I do want to remind you guys that I do have my Patreon up and running, and I've been doing a lot of cover tunes over there lately. Been taking requests, And it seems as though Patreon has kind of been the place where I've been doing more non-political content. It seems like that's catching on there pretty good. People kind of likes taking a break from all the political madness. So if you ever want to give it a shot and see if you like it or not, you can check it out. It's in the link on my any of my videos. You'll see my Patreon link. We've been having a lot of fun over there. And I want to give a big shout out to all of my members who are in the house here today with us. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you're all are enjoying the show. I hope you're enjoying the show. I saw someone say they were. But yeah, it's coming closer and closer, and as it gets closer and closer, you can definitely. I'm definitely. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely starting to feel more anxiety about it. But at the same time, I feel pretty good that we're going to win this thing. I just feel like I said, we have to give Kamala a team um, to work with because they're going to come at her from every angle. And I mean, I'm not trying to be Nostradamus here, but they're going to create every kind of conspiracy theory and every kind of bogus impeachment claim they can. It's just going to be more of the same from them. But hopefully, as we move forward, I don't know if we'll see this, but in a perfect world, I would like to see the Republican Party themselves start to pick up the pieces of some of this and try to restore it in some fashion and not just keep leaning in on all these crazy conspiracy theorists. When you look out there at all the conspiracies right now that they're out there promoting and pushing, and the biggest one claiming that the government controls the weather, it's just absolutely ridiculous telling people to drink raw milk. And by the way, don't do that. Do not do that. But I'm sure there's people out there doing it because they heard Marjorie Taylor Greene saying it. They're just leaning into that crazy and trying to distort and muddy the water. But after this is all over and we start the reconstruction period after Trump, and I hate to compare it to that, and some people may say it's a reach, but I truly feel like that once he's out of the political arena and we know he's not running for president again, I really feel like it'll be like the second reconstruction. It's going to, because we're going to be having to fix back all the distrust that he sowed in our system. And so, I would like to see the Republican Party at least try and I do agree with you. I saw someone said the Republican Party is dead for real. I agree with that, but I would like to see them. I would like to see some phoenix rise from the ashes that just wasn't absolutely batshit insane. I want to have more options in the world. I've always voted Democrat my entire life, but I don't want to live under a dictatorship, and I don't want to live under one party's rule. I want there to be a healthy alternative. The problem is we've not had one for so long, and I don't know if we ever did really, but we definitely haven't had one since Trump came down the escalator. So just saw that someone joined up as a new member. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, we just want to see what this would be like if we did a middle of the day show, and I may come on from time to time around noon Eastern, because that's a pretty good time for me. I pick up my son from school at like 2:30. So, and I usually wake up and knock out my videos first thing in the morning. So, we could sit here and have some fun doing these. So we'll see how it goes. But I really appreciate you guys. I got to be honest. We got more people in the house than I really thought we would. I wasn't sure if where everybody would be about their day. But that's the whole point. I wanted to see what we would have out there. Normally we go like at 9 or 7, something like that Eastern. And so it's really cool. Thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to join in, and hope everyone's doing well. But yeah, I really hope that everyone out there is doing okay during these storms. We've got a lot of friends and listeners from all over the country, and so many people have been talking with me and letting me know how they're doing. And so far, I hope everyone is staying safe, and go out there, folks, and try to find reputable places that you can donate if you can't actually get out there and physically pitch in. If you're able to donate at all, there's the East Tennessee Foundation here for those of us in this part of the world. It's a good place to donate. So yeah, just try to help your neighbors in need right now. And I just think that them spreading these kind of conspiracy theories at this point in the game, it's just one of the worst things ever. For them to do that at this point. Yeah, be sure to check out the Patreon. Someone said they would have to check it out. Be sure to do so, because we definitely have a lot of fun over there. Like I said, it just sort of gradually started happening. I went over there and I started playing some songs, and then people started requesting some. And then I just got to thinking, there's a lot of things that I love to talk about that's not political. I mean, we could talk about our favorite movies, or we could talk about I could tell you what my favorite cigars are, or whatever. So that's probably where I'll pump more content to that nature. Um, Richard Baker says there is no Republican Party anymore. Man, you're right. There's not been for so long. Um, so yeah. Well, Serena, I hope you're okay. I tell you, this crud that I had, this sickness, I still have a dull headache from it all. But luckily, I didn't have the flu, COVID, or strep. I didn't have none of that stuff. But man, it felt like I did at one point. I really thought every time I took a test, I was thinking it was going to come back the other way. I was lucky it didn't, but I hope everyone out there is staying healthy. So, what are my favorite cigars? Well, I've backed myself into a corner now. All right, well, we can do that. I really, you got your different wrappers, and I don't want to nerd out and spend too much time talking about cigars, but you got your different wrappers. And for those of you out there that don't smoke cigars, I've always tried to compare it to coffee. If you just picture your mild blend and your dark blends. So you've got your Connecticut wrappers, which would be like your mild coffee, and you've got your Maduros, which would be more the dark roast. I'm a big fan of one called La Aroma de Cuba. They're really good. Also, Hoya de Nicaraguas. They're really good. And I really prefer, I don't have one laying around, but I really prefer the little torpedo one of the Hoyas. They're really good. There's also one called Villiger that's a really good Connecticut. And I really like it with my morning coffee, but I haven't had one since I've been sick. So, but yeah, those are just a couple of my favorites. Monte Cristo's another one. Yeah, I really appreciate you asking that question. But the La Aroma de Cubas are as close as you're going to get to a Cuban cigar in the States, because the guy that started that was a Cuban-born guy named Jose Garcia, and he started off growing his stuff in Cuba, and then he ended up moving to Nicaragua, and taking his Cuban seeds and planting them there. So it's Cuban seeds grown in Nicaragua. So they're really good, and like I said, there's different sizes of those, but I kind of, now on those I kind of tend to go more for the Robusto size on those. But yeah, thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Serena said she loves the smell of cigars. You know what's funny about that, Serena? When I first started smoking them, I was used to like people around here that smoked like those Swisher Sweets and like the little cigarillos, and I never liked the smell of those. I learned later that there was. I learned later that those are all factory made, and that's paper, and there's chemicals in there. Whereas the ones I smoke, the premium cigars, they're rolled in a leaf, and there's not all those additives and all that glue that makes those other cigars smell so terrible. So yeah, they really do have some of these that I smoke have a really good aroma to them. They really do, and they go well with, like I said, I love them with coffee in the morning. It's one of my favorite things. And I've actually went back and listened to some videos from a couple of years ago before I started smoking, and I've noticed I'm getting a little bit more raspier in my voice. So I don't know all the side effects necessarily, but I may be talking like Red Fox before I hit 50. We'll see. But yeah, those are nasty. One time I rode with a friend of mine, and he asked me if he could smoke my car, and I said, yeah. At the time I was driving this old clunker, I said, yeah, go ahead, I don't care. And he lit up these cherry cigarillos, and I made it from about here to Knoxville. Serena knows where I'm at. I made it from about here to Knoxville, and I was like, man, I didn't make it to Knoxville. I kind of made it on the other side of Maynardville, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry. You got to throw that thing out the window. It's killing me. But yeah. Yeah, those are the ones you want to smell of. Those the good ones. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing good. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of test the water here and see how a midday show would do. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to commit to one just yet, but I just wanted to get a feel for it, see what kind of audience we had, and see how many people was out and about at this time of day. Because this is all I do now. I'm just a full-time content creators. So I got the time, and if there's an audience out there for it, we may sneak in more of these as we go forward. Um, Someone said both their grandfathers were pipe smokers. I had my grandfather on my dad's side smoked a pipe, and Lucky Strikes with no filter. Then my grandpa on my mom's side, he was a whiskey drinker and chewed tobacco, but he didn't smoke. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in today. It's been fun. I'll go a few more minutes here, and then I got some stuff I got to get back to doing. But someone said I'll stick with cannabis. No problem with that at all. Hoping how soon that becomes legal all the way across the board. I went out to California back in April, and I had a good time. I had a real good time. Um, I actually do enjoy it. I just don't like living in Tennessee and traveling with it. You know, that's one of the reasons why that I just never. Yeah, and I'm right here on the tri-state. Like I'm right on the line of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia, so I can be in all three states in like 10 minutes. If I leave my house right now, I could be to Virginia in like 5 minutes, and I could be to Kentucky in 10. Yes, they're right there next to me, and so just traveling back and forth across those lines, they're notorious for setting up roadblocks in places like that. And I'm like, I just don't want this stuff on me. I don't want the headache and the hassle. But the day it becomes legal will be the day that Brando morphs into his Willie Nelson phase, and I'll probably give up the other stuff, the scotch and stuff. Yeah, I have been through Somerset, Kentucky. Someone asked. I just got a tattoo recently from a guy named Corey. I can see it, the dragon here. I got a tattoo from Corey up at. Well, Jess knows the name of the studio. If she's still here moderating. but yeah, I got a tattoo in Somerset just a few weeks ago. Been through there quite a bit. I played some shows up there years ago. Played some music up there a long time ago. But I get out that way every now and then. Quality custom tattoo. Thank you. All right. If you guys want to start throwing some questions my way, we'll take some questions the last few minutes I'm going to be on here, and we'll really appreciate you guys tuning in. I didn't expect, like I said, wasn't expecting us to have. I didn't know what my crowd would be like in the middle of the day, but it's been fun. I've had a good time doing it. Maybe we'll tune in and do this a little bit more often. So yeah, so Tennessee Brando will get to 420 likes. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I can make it to 420 today. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, everybody in my family is okay with the hurricane. We've been really lucky here in my little corner. There's a lot of the surrounding counties really took a hard hit. And so some of the towns around us are completely underwater. But right now, at the moment, we're okay, and I hope everyone else out there is as well. Saw someone said howdy from Newport. How's things going over there? I hope. I know it got pretty rough in that part of the world. Yeah, someone said I love seeing a Southerner with an American flag. Me too. I like seeing it because for the longest time I feel like that. The Republicans and the MAGA type people just hijacked it, and it's almost like you just automatically assumed if you saw it that that's what the person flying it was. And we've started this thing with Minus Touch Network. We've been on like Twitter, we've got the flag and the eagle next to our names now because we're trying to reclaim that. It doesn't belong to just one group of people or one set of ideas. So yeah, you're right. We do have to take it back. I agree 100%. That's kind of the reason. That's really the reason why it's hanging there, if I'm telling the truth. But someone said they tried to send me a song. Where did you send it? Because I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys. I try my best to get to all my messages, but I have absolutely been swarmed as of late with so many that that I haven't had the chance to dig into my inboxes too far. But yeah, someone just asked if I've ever been to New York City. No, I've not, but that's definitely on my bucket list. I would love to make it up that way. Not made it yet. But saw something else here a minute ago. If I can find it back. Someone said, Brando, I bought your albums on iTunes. You're good. Well, I really appreciate that, Ron. Thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, my music is available on iTunes, Spotify, all the places you download music. Um, you can find me under the name Tennessee Brando, of course. I've got several albums up on there, and I'm working on a new one at the moment. We've been working on one for the last couple of weeks. Also, you can look me up on under Brandon Fulson. That's Brandon Fulson. Um, you can look me up there, and I've got like 7 or 8 albums worth of songs on there that are more non-political tunes. And, I know that Tennessee Brando stuff, the satirical stuff's what blew up, but people sometimes say, "Do you write anything that's not political?" Yeah, I've got a whole catalog that isn't. Someone asked if I made it to New Orleans. I have been. I went back in 2011 and absolutely loved it, and I'm dying to come back. And that's one of the things I'm hoping to do more next year is travel more and get out more and meet more people because I've not really, believe it or not, I've still not been out of the country. So I've still not made it out of the country yet. But yeah, I mean, I thank you guys for being here with me. It's always fun. We always have a good time, and like I said, I just wanted to try it and see. Um, wanted to try it and see what it would be like. Yeah, Serena says when well, I play your music every day. It keeps me centered. That means a lot to me. I truly appreciate that. Um, I truly do. That means the world to me to say, Serena. I'm trying to find it back. Where Serena? Yeah, when Kamala wins, everyone should get those American flags flying. Absolutely, we really should. Like I said, it doesn't just belong to one group of people or one ideology. I think that's the biggest point that so many of them miss. you know, I really feel that they miss that. When they say America first, it's just no, it's them first. Is what they're saying. They're saying put us first and put everyone that looks like us first. Someone asked if I ride motorcycles. Believe it or not, no. I get asked that question all the time. I've been a musician for over 25 years now, and back when I was younger, I had long hair. It came all the way down here. It was like auburn red. It was like the Undertaker on WWE. And I don't know. I just always felt like I needed to have something on my head when I was playing music, a hat of some sort. But I had trouble finding hats that would fit. And for whatever reason, me and my mom and dad's always had bandanas laying around the house. And one night I was headed to a gig and I tied on a bandana. And the first time I ever tied one, it was kind of like Willie Nelson style with my head still exposed. And I wore it that way for just a little bit. And then I tried the 80s rocker look where they let the hair hang down in front of it. And that looked ridiculous. Now, this is by the way, I'm back in like my early 20s at this point. And then one day I just tied it like this and it stuck. And then people started saying, "Do you ride a bike?" And I'm going, "No." No, I just play music. And so yeah. But yeah, I was born a redhead. I had red hair when I was a kid. And my oldest son looks like Tyler Childers. So yeah, I did try the Axl Rose special on for size. It looked ridiculous on me. I think I did it one time, and I think midway through the gig, I just took it off. All right, well, I forgot to bring the Buddha. Yeah, you're gonna have to get on to me for that one. I forgot to bring the Buddha. He's sitting over there on my windowsill. I have performed in Texas. Someone asked if I performed in Texas. Yeah, I have. It's been back in 21 when everything kind of opened back up. Um, I came out and played in Amarillo. I had a really good time in Amarillo and went down to Lubbock and then circled. We didn't play anymore after that, but we circled back through the state and I got to see a lot of it. So it was a really good time. But yeah, throw me any questions you want to. I'll wrap it up here in just a few minutes. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Just wanted to see what a middle of the day show would be like, and see how it was going. And someone said motorcycles are deadly. That's true, they are. And honestly, I know I look like a biker, but they terrify the crap out of me. I don't want to be traveling down the road like 70 mile an hour and nothing between me and the concrete. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I have been to Indiana. Yes, I have several times. I used to play at a little town up there, Martinsville, I believe it was called. Do I have a fiddle in the band? Well, I can't play in Texas. I got well, actually, yeah. I've got a buddy of mine that's played guitar and steel, and he plays some fiddle too. So if we come to Texas, I'll make sure he brings his fiddle along for the ride. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to be able to do a Patreon live on Sunday, Lynn. I'm still trying to work through this crud. The other day when I put the one song on Patreon, I went ahead and tried another one, and when I got midway through the other one, I was already choking up and coughing and gagging. So I'm probably gonna have to pace myself, and I may have to wait a few more days before I can get back in the saddle doing that. Um, but yeah, someone said I'm a bluegrass fan myself. I made a bluegrass album. It's called. Now this is my sense of humor here. If you look up Brandon Fulson, Brandon Fulson, I made an album called Poa Pretensis, and everybody said, "Man, what in the world is Poa Pretensis?" Well, if you Google it, it is the scientific word for the grass that grows in Kentucky that looks blue. And that was just me being sarcastic. I was listening to one of those, like, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a podcast that only lasted like 10 minutes, which was perfect for my work break. I would take a break and sit down and listen to that little podcast for about 10 minutes. It was always just like 5 minutes. It was like two segments, one 5 minute segment followed by another 5 minute segment just dedicated to like useless information, just random thoughts. And so this one episode was like the origins of Kentucky bluegrass. Well, I thought it meant the music. And so I clicked on it, and they were talking about the actual grass, which originally grew in Europe, and they brought it over here and planted it. I didn't know that, but it was called Poa Pretensis. And so I made a bluegrass album called that. And I thought, people's going to Google Poa Pretensis to see what it means. And when they do, they're just going to see Kentucky bluegrass. So, yeah. Here on YouTube, someone said, how do I pay for a subscription? Here on YouTube, you can sign up by hitting the button that says join. And then if you would rather go to Patreon, where I do more of the music, the Patreon link is in any video I've got out there. You can follow it. Jess says, click the $sign. Okay, cool. I've never, believe it or not, I've been everywhere in Tennessee. I've only drove through Memphis, but I've never stopped. I've never actually stopped in Memphis. And so I've always wanted to, though. Yeah, well, I think I've seen some of the bluegrass in different spots of Kentucky, more of like but you really have to kind of be looking at it from a mountaintop. You can't really see it like if you're up on it. It's one of those things you really see more from a distance. But I want to thank Lynn. She just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Lynn, for that. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for doing that. Whose picture is behind me? Well, there's several. Back here we got John Prine, and I put him up there. He was with me back when I was living in my old place, and I did the live at the kitchen table shows. That's the songwriter John Prine. That there's the Tyler Childers album Long Violent History. And then over here, that's a postcard of Neil Young, and that's a painting of Hunter S. Thompson, which I've got a bunch of Hunter S. Thompson inspired tattoos. I got the Gonzo buy the ticket, take the ride, and I've got the bat from Fear and Loathing. And no problem if anyone out there, someone said I'd love a membership, but I'm not working right now. I completely understand. I always say try those on for size and see how you like them, but don't feel committed to do so. And if you try it on for a month or something and you don't like it, or you hit a tough spot, I know how hard things can be. So yeah, just try it on for size if you can afford it. If you like it, hang on to it. If you don't, totally understand. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I love the Fear and Loathing film. That's one of my favorites too. And the funny part is too, I'm a big fan of the movie Where the Buffalo Roam. I think Bill Murray is underrated as far as playing Hunter Thompson. I know everyone loves to see Johnny Depp do it, and don't get me wrong, I thought Johnny Depp was spectacular in Fear and Loathing, but I really think that Bill Murray needs some more love for his performance in Where the Buffalo Roam. That was a great movie. Awesome. Someone found the 20-minute promotion live session that I did in 2020. You know what's funny? We did that right as like the pandemic was just starting to really kick in, and we did that. And the day I think we did that, or right around the time, is when Tennessee was closing down. It depends on which one you're watching. If you're watching the one where I'm just by myself, That was done the day Tennessee closed. I literally came out and said, yeah, they just closed the state down. And then the one with the band was done later. But if you're watching the one with just me, that was such a time of uncertainty too. And that's the day that Tennessee actually closed. So yeah, we did have a troll. I saw somebody come through just a minute ago and say MAGA 2024. It's like, okay, whatever. Oh, have you ever seen beautiful Bobby Eaton wrestle a match in person? No, I did. I never got to. That's one of my biggest regrets. I absolutely loved him. He was one of my all-time favorites, and that tells me you've been listening, because that's like some random thing that I've said maybe twice. But he's definitely in my top 5 all-time favorites. He's just one of the greats. So smooth as silk, and made it believable. Came off the top rope like nobody else, I thought. I really think he was the king of the top rope in my mind, because it just always, don't get me wrong, some people got higher in the air than he did, and some people might have, like, I don't know, but he just came off with so much impact it made it look so believable. Is there diversity where that I live? I'm going to bring this one up if I can catch it. They're going by pretty quick. Is there diversity where you live? I'm from LA and grew up with diversity. Well, to be honest, no, there's not a whole lot, if I'm just being brutally honest. But it just depends on where that you go. There are a lot of blue dots and like-minded people here in Tennessee. And if you go to like a city like Knoxville, for example, there's sides to Knoxville that I feel like is liberal. And the people there have laughed at me for saying that, but it's just because I come from such a Bible Belt town myself. And to go to a part of town where, it's got a more progressive vibe and more progressive people are hanging out. I mean, you got to understand that where I come from, there is no diversity. There's not. So if I go to Knoxville and I see some, I'm impressed. I remember I lived in Knoxville from 2012 through 2015. And I would say, like, wow, it's way more progressive here. And my friends in Knoxville would laugh. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, it is to me, because I came right straight out of the Bible Belt, But yeah. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's see where we're at the moment. I know we crossed over 300,020 last time I looked. So we're 320,455 subscribers. I really appreciate that. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and 51% of my audience hasn't hit subscribe yet. I think a lot of people don't know the buttons there or don't understand what it is. Really, basically, all it does is just give you the notification and the notification bell on YouTube that I've released a video. And for the longest time, I didn't hit subscribe to people's channels, and now I have, and I get on my YouTube news feed and I scroll down it. That way, if you get on your YouTube community and scroll down, you'll see it's kind of like any other platform where you're friends with somebody. It's basically the same thing. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. Just thought we'd see what would happen if I went live during the middle of the day to see what kind of audience we had out there. Someone said you're my favorite political content provider. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Someone says I'm a blue dot here in Tennessee. Good to know you, man. It's I have a lot of people come up to me when I'm out in public, and we talk about that. Thank you to, I hope I'm saying this right, Carell just gifted some memberships. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I will be back soon doing the Sunday evening sound show that we do on members only. I just got to get my crud completely gone. Someone said that I'm the first content creator you subscribe to. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Really appreciate you guys coming on. I always enjoy doing these, and we had a good audience today. We really did. For the first time doing one in the middle of the day. Me and Coach D always has a good time doing the breaking lives when something big happens, and or we're reacting to debates or whatever the case may be. And just thought I would come on today and do a little, just see how it would go, and see how many of you were out there available during this time of day. And we may come back and do this again soon. If you haven't already, like I said, be sure to go over and check us out on Patreon. The links in the videos on YouTube. And yeah, 700. We had 700, and I was getting up close to 800 at one point. That's one of the reasons why I hung around. It's the musician in me. See, I was gonna go. I was gonna go 30 minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I thought, well, I'll just chime on for 30 minutes, and just see what everybody's doing. And I was thinking there may not be as many people as there are on a Friday night, so I'll just tune in and see what everybody's doing. Well, then I get on here and I got 736 people at the moment looking at me. And the musician in me says, keep playing. Because, see, used to back in the day, we'd go out to play a gig and there wouldn't be nobody there. And it would be like a very kind of empty room. We get up there and start playing. Well, we'd play for 45 minutes or right close to an hour, and it would be about time to take a break, but the crowd's rolling in. And the people are on the dance floor. And you're like, well, crap, they're here now. Hey, let's go a little bit further. So it's really hard for me. Honestly, it's really hard for me to set a time limit on any of these shows, because when it comes down to the wire, unless I've absolutely just got to get up and go somewhere, if I really truly had to just get up and run, then I would get up and run. But, if I don't, then the musician in me is like, stick around. They're still here. They're still tipping, you know. I did that for so long, it just got in my blood, and that's how I think. If used to play a place where my best friend, it's actually him on the wall back there that I never, right there. And the only reason I've never really talked about it is because he hated social media and never wanted to be mentioned on it. But man, the minute the crowd started to dwindle, or the minute they stopped buying beer, he's like, time to close, time to go home. So I just got that ingrained in me, and it's hard to walk away when we got people sitting here, especially when I see the number going up. As I'm watching the number go up, and then it's like, oh wait, not yet. So yeah, really appreciate you guys for being here with me. Saw a blue dot in Kentucky. I grew up over in Bell County. Like I said, I'm right on the line. Someone asked us, how will the hurricanes affect the election? Well, that's a great question. The way I look at it is you have two sides, and you can look at how Kamala Harris and Joe Biden has handled the situation, and you can look at how Trump and MAGA has handled it. Trump and MAGA has handled it by spreading every type of conspiracy theory and misinformation, and they've handled it by just making up a bunch of lies. Whereas Joe Biden has been working with the governors, and he's been working with governors in red states, which is something that when Trump was president, we saw him deny people because they had a Democratic governor. So I just feel like that you can look at the two ways that it's being handled right now. And I mean, they're out there sharing AI of Trump wading through floodwater. It's the most ridiculous, cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. And I really believe that it could affect it when people just looks around and goes, well, Kamala is being the adult in the room. The Democrats are being the adult in the room, and MAGA's being, well, I started to say kids, but that ain't really fair to kids, honestly. Someone asked it's a good question. Let's see if I can grab it. Well, someone says, Sharon of Roses says, do you feel good about the election? Do you think she has this? Yeah, I do. I really do feel good about it, and I think she's got it. But I think that we have to stay focused, and I think that I'm never going to count Donald Trump out until he's down for the count. He has been like just he's like the cockroach that just won't go away. So I do worry about him creating chaos on election day. I worry about him because he says things like, I don't need the votes, because he knows he can't win the popular vote. And I just worry about those things. But I feel like we've got good energy right now. I feel like people can see she's the leader. They can see she's the adult in the room. I think we have the energy. But I think we need to give her a landslide. I really do. I don't think there needs to be any question on election night. I think it needs to be called early. We got this. It's a wrap. We can take it home. Which they'll probably still kick and scream. But yeah, I do feel good about it. I feel a lot better than I have felt in a long, long time. And so we just have to keep moving forward and do the best that we can. And someone said right there, it's incredible to me that he has support at all. I just don't get it. I don't either. I truly don't understand how that he has support at this point. I've always been of the nature that if you can show me the facts and show me the evidence of something, then I'm upset that I believed in something different. You know what I mean? I'm of the nature, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and say to you that I haven't bought into certain things I've heard in the past. We all have, and damn, we just jumped over 800 people, so that's awesome. You know, we've all heard stories and conspiracies and things that people put out there and believed it for a minute. But I'm the type of person that uh, when you present me with the facts and the evidence and can show me that I've been thinking about something the wrong way, I'm gonna go with it, and then I'm gonna be pissed at myself for ever believing something that wasn't true. Um, but yeah, hope everyone is doing great. We all of a sudden just had a big burst of people roll in. Like I was talking earlier about the about being at the gigs, and you think you're about to wrap up, and then you have more people coming on. It's awesome. We shot up really quick. Someone must have shared this. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I think Texas Paul goes every day. I don't know if he goes every day. Tomorrow, someone said Texas Paul around lunchtime. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern for me. I think it's when Paul's going. Someone said love Neil Young. So do I. He's one of my biggest influences. But yeah, we do. We got folks on the dance floor. We got them back. Someone just said it's lunchtime. We were talking about that. That this might be a good time to go. Someone asked a good question here. I'm going to bring it up if I can find it. More day lives, please. Yes, I'll definitely do more of these. I've really had fun. Trying to find that comment back that I saw. We will definitely try to do more of these. Someone asked us, have you personally had a conversation with a MAGA believer where you changed their mind about Trump? Um, I have had people reach out to me, not necessarily that I've had conversations, but I've had people reach out to me that said they started off watching my videos because they'd heard me play music or whatever, and they couldn't believe that I was thinking the way I did, and then that I made them think, and that they had never looked at it the way that I did. And so I have had people reach out and say that they have changed their mind by listening to my content, and that they came around to a different way of thinking. Um, and I think I have made some progress with some of the conversations that I've made in person. Um, it's one of those things where when you're doing content like this, the way I look at it, when you're sitting there and you're making a YouTube video, you have to go for it. You have to really swing for the fences. And some of those videos may sometimes come off like that I'm never going to hear anyone out, or I'm never going to hear another way of thinking. But when I'm sitting across from somebody and we're engaging in a conversation, I'm not a combative person that's going to name call and try to be that way. And if someone tries to be that way with me, I'll get up and walk away. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I'll get up and walk away from that. But I feel like that I have made some pretty good conversations with friends who have I can't believe you think the way you do. And I just come back with, well, I can't believe you do either, especially considering that years ago you was warning me about dictators and warning me about certain things that now you seem to be embracing. So yeah, I think I have made some progress with people, and I have had people reach out and say that I helped change their mind. So thank you for that question. I saw a lot of people saying Trey Crowder. If anyone has his phone number, let me know. Because no joke, I every day I get asked about Trey. I see Trey Crowder's name in my comment section damn near every day. And every time I do a live, somebody pops up and says, get with Trey Crowder, do something with Trey Crowder. I absolutely love Trey Crowder. And no, I've never met him, even though he's just from, he lives out in California now, but he's about maybe 2 hours, something like that, 2 hours west of me. But I love his stuff. And I've never actually met him, but I did see him in person back years ago. There used to be a comedy club called Side Splitters in Knoxville. And believe it or not, I actually tried my hand at stand-up comedy and went out there and did some open mics. And he was at those open mics back then before he blew up as liberal redneck. I remember seeing him there. And then he just suddenly exploded. And it was so cool to see. And then I did go see him live with the Well-Read Comedy Group. So yeah, he's one of my favorites, and so many people are always asking about him. So yeah, Yeah, I have been to California. I was there back in April. But yeah, I've had so many people ask me about Trey. I would love to meet him and talk with him. I really loved seeing him blow up, and I think and what's funny at the time when it happened, I had so many of my friends going, "You should be doing that," because I would always be ranting about politics with my friends and family, and when they saw him doing it, which he's way funnier than I am, he's more of a comedian with it, but you know when people saw him doing it, like ranting from his porch, that first video I remember he put out that blew up, people's like, you should have recorded your rants. And even after that, for the longest time, I still did. And I was like, I don't want to come off like I'm trying to copy that guy. And then here we are. So, yeah. Lynn says we will bombard him. Okay. Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. When I saw him play at the Bijou Theater in Knoxville, it was so cool because that was around the time we were having the arguments about the drag queens here in Tennessee. And Bill Lee was passing so much ridiculous rules and stuff. And Trey and the team came out. They all performed in drag that night. It was super cool. That was a really good show, and he absolutely crushed it. So did Corey and Drew. They did great too. And I wasn't as familiar with Drew's stuff before that show. I did meet him after the show and shook his hand, and he was impressed with my drive-by trucker tattoo. And he had me take a picture of it so he could send it to Patterson Hood from the truckers. So I did meet him. I would love to travel overseas. I don't know. Let's see, Glasgow, Kentucky. Glasgow, Kentucky. Which Glasgow? In my mind, I'm 129 miles from Glasgow. That's where I'm from. So I'm trying to figure out if you're west or is that out west or yeah, okay, I thought so. Yeah, you're more to the west. I'm right here on the southeast and the southeast tip of it. Um, right on the Kentucky. I'm in Bell. Well, I'm not in Bell County. I grew up in Bell County, right on the state line of Tennessee and Virginia. Yeah, someone I talked about this earlier, but someone said that when Trump says he was an upfront guy and doesn't lie, that shit was hilarious as hell. Yeah, the podcaster laughed right in his face. That's what made it so funny. Is that podcaster just started laughing right in his face, and you could see Trump kind of go deer in headlights, like, "Oh shit." Um, but yeah, I mean, you could. I don't know how you could say that. How anyone could say that. How he could say that to anyone, then not laugh in his face. Another funny clip from that podcast is when they asked him if he drank or did drugs, and he said no. And I always told my children to not drink or do drugs. And the podcast host said, "Did you tell that to Don Jr.?" And Trump, you could see like, oh, he's like, "Well, Don Jr. is pretty wild." That was one of my favorite moments from that podcast. I was rolling. Jess says we've been to Glasgow. Look, I'll tell you a little inside joke about me. I meet people all the time out in public, and I go to places all the time and never remember that I went. Okay, so I very well could have played all night long one night in Glasgow, Kentucky. I don't remember it, and I know that sounds terrible. And people's like, "How's that possible?" But folks, no joke. I have literally had people walk up to me. I've had people walk up to me and go, "Man, you did the best cover I've ever heard of Ship of Fools by Bob Seger one night at the Mustang in 2010." And I'm like, "Did I sing that?" "Yeah, you did. You killed it." And I look over at my guitar player like, "Hey, did we play Ship of Fools by Bob Seger?" "Yeah, we used to do it all the time." "Oh, crap, I forgot." So I don't know. My memory, I can remember like historical stuff. If you need to know what happened, at any point in American history, I can go back and tell you that. And I can tell you vividly what happened, 20 years ago, or just a lot of useless information. But as far as like meeting people and going places, I literally have like seen pictures later, or like I've seen videos of musician buddies of mine playing in a bar, and they'd be like, so and so live at Bob's Country Bunker or whatever, and I'm like, looks like a pretty cool place right there. And my buddy'd be like, "Yeah, we played that about 5 times." So, did we? My bad. I'm the world's worst for that. So yeah, yeah. Just ask Jess if I've been there, or if I'm. That's definitely, and people don't understand. I don't know. I don't know if it's just all the years of doing it constantly, um, that got the better of me, or what the deal was. But yeah, I miss California too. It's so great out there. Oh, ever been to Northern Virginia? Yes, I have. Now I know I've been to Northern Virginia. Don't ask me to name the towns. Don't ask me to name the places I played. Um, but then what's funny, I will remember like the most random thing ever. Just I don't know. I'll have the most random memory ever of certain. And I do remember a lot of the gigs and shows that I played. But I'm just saying I will have like the most random memories. And sometimes sometimes my buddy Teddy the Buck that plays guitar with me. There's times where I'll mention a place and he don't remember it either. He's the most accurate one that's from my old band because he was usually the sober one. uh, so he's probably, if he ever wrote the book, his would probably be the most accurate. But there's every now and then I've got one over on him like, no, we played there, we did. So I don't know. What's my favorite guitar, by the way? Well, I don't have them close to me, or I'd show you. I've had a 1981 Gibson Les Paul Standard ever since 1998. And it's just been with me for so long. It's pretty much my favorite guitar by default. So I love that Gibson Les Paul. And then I have a Fender Telecaster, American made, that I really love. I'm more of a Tele guy than I'm a Strat. And then I just recently bought a Hagstrom Viking. I don't know if you're familiar with Hagstrom guitars, but they are great. And it might be the best playing guitar I've ever owned. It's a semi hollow body, kind of has like a 335 look to it. And I mean, I'm always going to love my Les Paul because it's been through hell and high water with me. But that Hagstrom has really come to the front, and I do most of my recording with it these days. That's usually the guitar I play on. I looked up and found a really cool custom built guitar that a guy here in town built. I found it at the pawn shop, and we've been turning it into what I'm going to call it the Brando caster. By the time we're done with it, we're going to put some special pickups and do some design work on it. Hold on a second. I'll show you. This one, this one was this one was sitting close to me. The Les Paul's in the case, but this one here, I found this in a pawn shop. A guy here in town built it. There's no writing on it nowhere, and I added this bandana pick guard to it. It plays great and it sounds good, except we don't really particularly care for these pickups. They're kind of thin sounding, so we're going to get. I've been looking into some new pickups I'm going to get and put in these, and then we're just going to sit here and do some pretty cool stuff with it till we have the Brando caster. But yeah, it plays really good. I literally gave $200 for it. That's all it cost, and so I can't wait. I've done some recording with it, but I just didn't think the pickup sounded as beefy as I like them to be. Because really, in all trueness, folks, I'm more of like I don't play a Telecaster like most people do. Like a lot of people chicken pick country style on a Telecaster, and I'm more Keith Richards. I'm going to tune it to open G and play that way. So I like a more beefy sound. I've always wanted one on my bucket list of guitars to get is one of those 72 Telecasters that had the humbuckers in it. I've always wanted one of those. But a good buddy of mine, Steve Novelli in Knoxville, who does all the work on my guitars, he was telling me about some pickups. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head. I've got them in my cart on Amazon. But he was telling me about some pickups that he can wire, and they'll give me that, because that guitar ain't been built for humbuckers. So here pretty soon we're going to put some pickups in it that will give me that humbucker sound. And I'm looking forward to playing that guitar more when we do that. But Novelli in Knoxville, if you're a guitar player and need your guitar worked on, Steve Novelli out of Knoxville is the best around. Can set your guitar up. You don't have to have the greatest guitar in the world, but you take it to him, and your guitar will be playing really good. He works on all. I won't let nobody touch mine. After he did it, I was like, crap, this guy's great. And if you need electrical work done on one, he doesn't work on amplifiers, but if you need electrical work done on one, he can do that as well. And he's one of the best out there at it. So I'm looking forward to getting that guitar, getting those new pickups in it, and recording more with it. I recently bought a Squier Bass 6 guitar. Those things are a blast. And I have a baritone, have a couple of acoustics. And here lately, I've kind of been on that kick of finding guitars like that and just kind of doing some custom build guitars. I've reached that stage in my life. So, yeah. But folks, I only intended to go 30 minutes with this show, and we ended up going an hour because the musician in me wouldn't let me leave while the crowd was still here. But I do need to be getting and going to do some things. I got to pick my son up here in about an hour and a half or so, and I got a few things I got to do. We've got some videos I'm going to be working on. I'll go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek. I'm going to be working on one talking about how Donald Trump is all upset at Howard Stern for interviewing Kamala Harris. I was actually watching the Howard and Kamala interview before I went live, and I'm about maybe 15 minutes into it. I want to watch the whole thing, and I'll probably do a reaction video to the whole thing. We can't use Howard Stern clips though on YouTube for copyright. The only way we can do them is if we find the audio. For some reason, it'll let us use audio but not video. But I'm going to be making a video on that, talking about how fragile Trump is, and how that if somebody, you know, how quickly he'll throw somebody under the bus, basically, and how upset he is at Howard Stern. And then I'm also going to be making one about all the ridiculous conspiracy theories that MAGA's been pushing during the storms, and how that now is not the time for that. So those are two that I'm going to get to work on. I may knock those out before I go get my son and start editing those. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody. Just thought we would go live in the middle of the day to see how it would go, and it went great. We had a really good crowd, and I really appreciate you guys so much for sticking with me and supporting what it is that I do. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out our memberships if you'd like to. Check us out over on Patreon. I'm doing this thing full time now, so I got plenty of time to pump out content. And let me know as far as my YouTube members and stuff goes, and all you people watching, just let me know what kind of content you would like to see me do, and topics you would like to see me cover. A lot of people will reach out to me, and I've really, and it really helps. Like I've got a friend named Raven out in Oklahoma who has sent me a lot of interesting stuff whenever I'm talking about that Ryan Walters guy. She'll send me stuff that helps me along. And so let me know what kind of content you would like to see me do. Let me know what subjects you'd like to see me tackle, and we'll get to it. Someone said, how can I contact you? Well, I normally don't do this, but since you asked, I don't know what the funny part is. I guess my email must be linked up somewhere because people still reaches out to me on it. So I guess it's public knowledge. Next time, I tell you what, next time I will bust out the Les Paul. Promise you the next time. I've just got it put away in the closet at the moment. It's a black Les Paul with the cream colored trim. Kind of looks like the one Steve Gaines played in Skinner, if you're familiar with that. But where was I going with that? Oh, how can I contact you? It's TN Brando, like the state Tennessee, but TN Brando 423 at Gmail. That's how you can get up with me. And like I said, it must be public knowledge because people reaches out to me on it all the time. So it's out there in the world somewhere. I might as well be okay to go ahead and tell you. But thank you guys for all you do. Someone said thanks for all I do. Well, thank you guys for all you do and supporting what it is that I do, and pushing my videos out there. I never thought we would make it this far. It seems like it was back in April we was putting up that plaque for 100,000 subscribers, and we've already crossed over 300. So I really appreciate you guys, and we'll come back and do this more often in the middle of the day, because I was just kind of feeling it out, seeing where it would go and seeing when the crowd would pick up and when it slow down. And so, yeah, we've had a great time. And thanks to all the members, thanks to all the ones who gifted memberships, and thanks to all who have been sitting here the entire time. I've been seeing your comments the entire time. I know you was with me. Thank you guys so much for hanging in. If you just tuned in, thank you. And hope everyone has a great weekend.